to ground the energies real fast before I am ready to speak. So I had this thought about just, when you're first coming out onto like a platform and when you're ready to show yourself and be visible and ready to be seen. And I'm gonna say right now, I am ready, but I've been in fear of being seen and putting myself out there for so long that so I'll just talk about a couple of the fears that I had about being seen and putting myself out there and sharing my heartfelt messages and work. And I have come to the conclusion where I'm, one, afraid of, being duplicated, of being copied, and all my work, me putting myself out there, and someone just like steals it from underneath me and takes credit for it and gets recognition for it. And, I don't get my flowers, I don't get the credit, I don't get, the recognition. And I've thought about it, and I do feel like that was a little bit of my ego speaking, and I've wrestled with it a little bit, and I recognize that, if my work is really that important, and I want it to be copied, I want more people out there who think like me, who do things like me, who feel the same feelings that I feel. I just want it to be done authentically. Like, I don't care if you copy me, but fucking embody the stuff that I'm saying and that I'm talking about. If you're just going to repeat it and regurgitate it without actually like feeling it within, then it's going to make me upset, obviously. And I think in this age where we're all really craving that authenticity and an originality, we don't want just a copy paste of what you stole from somebody else. And I've seen it happen. I've seen a lot of people take my work, take my, things that I say, ideas that I share, and make it their own. And it's conflicting inside. It doesn't feel good. But I think when you're on a creative path, you understand. I mean, maybe you guys have heard this where, nobody really has any original thoughts or ideas. There's always just a call happening, there's a ring, and you either choose to pick up or somebody else picks it up. So there is no like, this belongs to me, this creation belongs to me. It belongs to everyone. It belongs to the collective consciousness. And so we can't really claim anything as our own completely. And I think there is a fear where it's like, well, if I'm not getting credit, then like I'm not being taken care of. The universe isn't going to take care of me. And, I think that is something that we need to rephrase and rearrange. That like, if you are showing up authentically, if you are doing the work, then you need to have like a die-hard belief that you will be taken care of, that you are noticed. And even if your work gets stolen, somebody else gets credit for it, somebody else gets the flowers for it. It's like, it's out there, the idea is out there now. And I get it that when you are coming out with a creation, when you answer the call, you're like, this, I'm authentically embodying it and sharing this information, and therefore it belongs to me. And then, so we think that we get like money, we get, gifts or provisions provided for us for answering that call. And then if somebody else takes your work when they never answered that call, and they get credit for doing something. And I see this all the time, especially now with like, especially when TikTok first came out and there was all these, you know, mainly like Black African American dancers who would come up with, and they had low amount of followers and they didn't have a ton of recognition within that platform. And you know, like, what is that, the D'Amelio sisters, they would, you know, steal these creators' work and dance moves and routines, and they would make it as their own, and they get the credit for it. And this has happened so much throughout history, and you know, inventors, musicians, especially a lot within Black communities that have really, you know, trailblazed and put in the grit and the work and the authenticity to bring forth these incredible creations, and then they've been whitewashed into something else. And you know, just like Elvis Presley, he, you know, Hound Dog was not his thing, but now he made it and it's out there and it touched a lot of people still. But you know, what would it have been if, you know, if the Black artist who made it got the credit for it in the first place? Like, I mean, it begs the question, I'm like, would it have become as big of a thing? And maybe, you know, it needed to make that full circle. Maybe it needed to go to the white people, and then it exposed the white person. Now we all know that Elvis Presley stole it from a Black woman, and now, like Doja Cat, she reclaimed it and she brought it back into the Black community, and now we all know, you know? And so is it just cyclical, you know? And I think that when you are answering calls and when you are doing something important, that it's like you do it for a bigger cause, you do it for a greater expansion. And you know, I think when it really settles down, and whether you get the flowers and whether somebody else gets the flowers for it, like, I think that it will cycle back. It will cycle back to where it belongs. And that, you know, that call that, you know, the original creator of Hound Dog and Elvis Presley stealing it, and you know, it had that greater impact of, you know, segregation and racism and all those things that we are now open to the public about, and now we're reclaiming it all, and now it's getting put back into the right hands. And it created more of an impact, and it created more of a change now that we realize who the original creators were. And even now, like, you know, with white Jesus and Black Jesus coming back into the mainstream public, it's like we're circling back around, we're cycling it out, and now how is it going to change? Like, what truths? And it took, what, 2,000 years, 1,000 years for us to reclaim Jesus being Black. So now what is it gonna be? You know, how are we going to, what is the cycle of this happening? And was it supposed to happen this way? And so now I'm just like, I don't know, I'm not so attached to my work and my creations and my original thoughts or ideas, because, you know, I mean, maybe that's just my job. Maybe I'm just supposed to answer the call, and maybe I'm just supposed to put it out there, and however it gets cycled around, however it gets regurgitated, whoever steals it, whoever does whatever to it, you know, and that is part of our internal struggle with our own egos and how much we really want to receive in this lifetime, and how we choose to just, because I think we get here and we're like, most of our goals are, hey, if I do this, then I get this in return. If I, make money, then I will be able to afford the house, the car, this and that. And we get attached to those things that it's like, oh, that's what's going to bring us happiness because of what we receive in return for our creations and for our energy and for us answering the call. And that's not really what it is. It's like we answer the call just to answer the call because it's fun, because we're that's what we're called to do. We're answering the call. That's the call. It's all in the call. And I think that we get, and maybe we get the benefits, maybe we get the prizes, and maybe we don't. And maybe that's really, it's not a big deal. Maybe we just put it out there and it will circle back. And like, we know where the credit really belongs to. We know the originals, we know the blueprint, and that's just our job. We just answer the call. We just put the information out there, and whatever happens to it, it happens to it. Whether it gets misconstrued or stolen, whatever the case may be, So if you are coming new to platforms, coming new to being seen and being visible and putting your creations and stuff out there, just have that security within yourself, knowing that like you're already doing the job, you're already getting the flowers because you answered the call. Answering the call is getting the flowers, is that receptivity and receiving that download, receiving that information, and receiving it's all good. Like, you get it, you put it out there, and that's it. That's the story. And and you continue to do that, and whether you progress, whether you get the prizes or not, I think we just have to detach and see the bigger picture. And I think we all get very attached to these bodies and our life, our little tiny life. It's so important to us. I know it is, because this is all we know. So I understand that, we want to hold on to these things so tightly, and we want to have ownership of, of all these things and these ideas, and we want to be seen and recognized as doing something special and original and extraordinary. And I think it's completely valid to do that, but just to have that desire in itself, I think is really special, that we have a desire to create something unique and original. And I think even with that, you will get, like, just know that you'll always be taken care of. If you're continuing to answer the call, know that even if you don't get the recognition in this way, you will still always be taken care of. You'll always have everything provided for you. And I think there is a little bit of just intention behind it also, and self-protection, and knowing that, like, when I put this out there, there's protection around it. There's my intent. Whatever happens to it, my intent is I will always get taken care of, no matter what. My faith is always that, like, I'm gonna be good either way. It doesn't matter, who steals it, who takes it, whatever. It's like, it's gonna cycle back around. Like, I'm always gonna be taken care of. Like, I'm always gonna be good. And me and the creator, we are going to be in tandem, and have that recognition within each other that, I answered the call. So yeah, that is my 2 cents about being duplicated and copied in this very inauthentic world when you're trying to be authentic. And yeah, continue to stay there, continue to answer the call, continue to put this stuff out there. Okay, bye.